soon. I think that, yeah, the audience will be able to hear us now. To set up their headphones, speakers, whatsoever, and get their screens running.
Looks good so far.
Yep.
I can see myself, so.
We can see ourselves, yeah. So everything should be really set up. Good. What is? Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, or for those in the US, good morning. It's 4 o'clock now here in Munich. My name is Michael Clockie. I'm in the marketing of TEBIS department. I'm the responsible for the webinars, and I'm really happy to have my colleague Jenny Mesaros with me this morning or this afternoon. And yes, we will tell you about our Proleis starter packages that are really a cost-effective and convenient access to digital manufacturing management. Yes. Some information at the beginning, some organizational notes. If the transmission quality is poor, it might help to switch off the webcam picture so that you can more easily follow the slides. And of course, I will really invite you to use the chat function in order to get your questions to us. We will try to answer them during the webinar, if it's possible. If it's not possible to answer them right away, then I promise you, you will get an answer from us afterwards, so every question will be answered. Yes, Jenny, then I think we're able to start to talk about digital manufacturing management.
Yeah, correct. Thank you, Michael. So yeah, at first, hello everyone. Hello everybody. It's pretty nice to, it's nice for me to give you the chance to talk about the cost-effective solution we have, and also to make it more convenient to access the data regarding the CAD and NC files. So let's start first. And
Jenny, I think you must start the presentation of the broadcast of your presentation.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
First. Yeah,
it's getting better. Okay, sorry. So let's start at first with one big question. Why should you even go to digitize your shop floor, your manufacturing? The first thing I would like to talk about is the lead time. The lead time is the time your product or your part needs to go through all the different steps, through all the different machines you have actually planned. So for example, if you would like to produce something, as shown on this page here, it needs to go first, after it got programmed, to the first machine, to get machine there, and then to the second one, and then to the third one, before it gets maybe assembled. So in all between these steps, it is waiting, for example, at the second machine. So it's maybe waiting for the right NC program. It's waiting for the operator, or it's maybe waiting because of the machine is currently busy with another product. So that actually makes the lead time of that part quite long. And if you do a smooth, right shop floor planning, where everything is really well planned, you'll be able to minimize these lead times. So when you make sure the machine is ready and the NC program is ready, at that point where the part actually goes to a specific machine, then of course you can make sure that everything goes smoother. Saying this, when you make things smoother and you minimize the lead time, you'll be able to produce more at the same time with the same number of resources. So when you can produce more at the same time, that also means you can increase sales. And this is something I just, it's nothing I'm just saying. That's something a lot of different companies did already realize using a software to digitize their shop floor. And for example, the Fraunhofer or the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy, they did some different studies in some countries of Europe to have a look for mid-sized companies around Europe who actually invested money to digitize their shop floor. And with this, they were able to increase their productivity by 25%. And that's really quite a lot without buying new machines, without hiring new operators. So with the same number of resources, in about 5-6 years, they were able to increase the productivity. And that's quite a lot. And when you plan the whole shop floor, and you plan all the different steps which are responsible to produce a product, you also be able, regarding the resource capacity, for example, at the first point when you plan a new product, you'll be able to see the delivery date. So when you can see the delivery date, the proper delivery date at the beginning, then you can make sure that the delivery date is going to be true. So your customers don't have to wait a little bit longer because of you mixed up the production and the delivery date just got a little bit delayed. That's pretty important. So this is why you should actually digitize your shop floor. But what is Proleis? And even more interesting, what is MES? So MES means Manufacturing Execution System. And I would like to explain that in 3 different levels. Let's start with the first one. It's the shop floor. The shop floor is where you have your machines, your operators working. This is actually where you make all the money. On the top level, you typically have an ERP system. So the system who's taking care of all bills, delivery notes, quotations, and whenever you get a new order from your customer, the order gets at first into the ERP system as a new project. So then the information of a new project needs to go down to the shop floor, to the machines, to the NC programmers, to all the operators involved producing a product, a new project for you. To do so, there is typically a lot of paperwork you need to do. So you have to write down a lot of things. You have daily team meetings to talk to the operators, just to let them know what they have to do next. And you will lose and spend a lot of time with that. So therefore, we have Proleis. Proleis fits in between these 2 levels perfectly to make sure that whenever you get a new product, a new project, it gets planned directly through Proleis into the shop floor level, that all the operators know what to do next without spending a lot of time just for team meetings. And the same way back, when you produce your product, you would like, of course, at the end, to analyze the data. So, of course, you would like to know what actually happened during the time where you manufactured the product. How much time did you spend? Was the calculation correct? Did you win or did you just lose money with that calculation? And this is where Proleis as MES software helps you. So let's have a look on a typical timeline where, in this case, with examples on milestones where a tool maker normally which a toolmaker is normally using to produce their products. But these milestones can also be used in different shop floors. So you as a machine maker, machine manufacturer, or as a manufacturer of unique parts, you probably have similar or even the same milestones in the whole project. Everything starts once your customer placed the order. Then, of course, you received all the data, the design has to start working, you start the NC programming, machining. So every single milestone you can see here is pretty important for the whole project, and you would like to reach them on time to make sure that you can deliver your product on time at the final end. In between all these milestones, you have different departments and different operators working together on one project. So for example, when somebody is doing the detailed planning for the shop floor, he needs to make sure that the material which you might don't have on stock is getting ordered and delivered before you actually need it at the machine. You need to make sure that the NC program is ready before you go to the machine. And you need to make sure that everything is up and ready in the assembly area before the assembler gets actually started working to assemble your product. So you see, all these different areas need to work together. They need to work hand in hand to make sure that your production goes really smooth. And to do so, you need to monitor your project. And this is actually where Proleis helps you. Proleis, as a server-based project monitoring software, or as a MES software, helps you to monitor all these different areas. Proleis is connected to all the different operators, of course, and to the machines. And whenever something takes a little bit too long, Proleis will immediately see that and can help you to fix the problems before they begin to be real problems.
Okay, Jenny, thank you very much for this overview over our digital manufacturing management. And yeah, this webinar is focusing on two aspects of this. And one is data management, which I think we will strive first, and later on it's machine data acquisition. And yes, during the registration for this webinar, we asked you some questions on the situation in your company, and yeah, this is what we're going to have a look for. So the first question was, on average, how much time do you spend in searching for manufacturing data? And we asked this in some blocks of 15 minutes, and where the maximum is 1 hour or even more per day. And when we look at the numbers, then we see that, yes, at the end, I think even almost half of the participants, so the numbers I show now, these are your numbers, the numbers that you gave us, half of you is looking at least 30 minutes or even more per day for documents. So this is yeah, a tremendous loss of productivity when you are looking for your documents. So when you have a tool that helps you there, I think this is very valuable. And so I think this is now what we are going to look into detail into data management with Proleis.
Correct. So this survey is pretty interesting to me because of that. Also shows what I have seen, you know, doing my work at different of our customers actually. So let's have a look onto an example how I saw companies working with the NC programming department, how they handle their files without having any kind of data management system. So here's a simple example, and this really shows the situation I'm facing a lot, or most of the time, I would say. So that is quite a typical company. They are having 5 different seats where they work with tables, 5 different computers for 5 different operators. And they all work sometimes on the same project, on the same files, because of their different experts for different kind of features and different kind of work they need to do in tables. So when they work on CAD files, they normally start with a network folder, which is shared in the network. So everybody has access to this. And to work on CAD files, of course, they have to download them and copy them to the local machine. But what if they forget to bring them back to the network shared folder, or what even happens when they forget to delete them from the local machine? So in this case, I end up with having 5 different CAD files of the same project with different kind of versions, different people, different operator actually worked on these files. And at the end, I don't really know what is the latest version. So I don't know what should I actually use as next and what should I use for the NC program to work for. So this is why we have designed the first data package. We call it manufacturing data management. And this data package will help you to don't lose any NC or CAD files anymore. So it shall help you to keep them safe. It shall also help you to have a right versioning, to have the right version always up and running and working on that, but also keep the older version in the background, just in case maybe you mess up the latest one. You will save a lot of time with this because of you don't have to look into a confusing data management system, which you might build up with different folder structures on a network drive. So let's have a look onto the project milestone and departments who are actually involved in one of my projects, where Proleis helps you with all the different areas to make sure that the plan is going smooth. And let's have a look in which areas the manufacturing data management actually fits in and helps you. So in this case, we have the CAD design, the manufacturing preparation, and the NC programming. All these areas will benefit with this data package of Proleis for the manufacturing data management. So how does it look like in the software? At the very first, I have to create a new project, or at least a new customer if the customer doesn't exist. And it's pretty straightforward. I'm currently inside my Proleis software, and on here, just do a right click and create a new customer if I like to. Give it a name, for example, customer 01. And underneath that customer, I just have to create a new project. That could be, for example, for one of the cars they would like to produce. So underneath the car, I at least need to have a part where the things I would like to produce belongs to. So for example, left door outer. And underneath that, I need what we call PSEs, Proleis Structure Elements. This is my actual project I'm working on. I will create 2 different PSEs because I would like to show you 2 different examples. Here we go. So I just created these. This is all I have to do currently in Proleis. So now let's have a look inside tables. Once I open tables and I'm using the data management of Proleis, I will realize that on the top left, I have something new, which wasn't really there before. This is actually my connection to Proleis. And to open this connection, I have to log in by username and password, which is actually also known by Proleis as well. If I don't want to enter this, then I can just use my Windows login to automatically get logged in once I start tables. So on the bottom, I see the customer I just created. If I open this, I see the project I created, car01, and underneath my part, I see the reflector and mount as projects. This is exactly the same structure we have seen in Proleis. So this is a direct connection to the Proleis data management, and I can start now working on these projects without even leaving tables. At the very first, let's attach a file into the data management area. To do so, I just do a right click and select the file I would like to import. Once imported, the file is visible underneath my reflector. But what actually happens in the background? Let's have a look. So of course I do have my own computer, my own tables workstation. And on here I currently have the CAD file saved. So now I got it attached to the Proleis data management server. So the file got actually copied to the server itself. Saying this, I don't need the CAD file on my local machine anymore, so I can directly delete it. This file is now available for everybody, for everyone using tables and the Proleis data management. So I uploaded the file to the server, and now everybody can have access to this. So let's start working on that file. Let's check out the file as we call it. Once I check out, the file gets opened and I can see it and work on it as usually in tables. But what happened in the background? Let's have a look again. So I again have the Proleis file server in the background here on the right side. And on my left side, I have my local machine where I actually have tables installed and I would like to work on the CAD file. The CAD file itself is still saved on the Proleis file server. So once I check out the file, it gets copied to my local machine. So I can start working on this. But what happens when anybody else would like to work on this file? Let's say Peter here on the right side would also like to work on the same file. He can see the file, but he gets the information that it's currently checked out by me. So he gets this red icon and my username so that tables and Proleis data management let him know who's currently working on that file. If I check in the file again, it gets saved back on the server and it will be available for Peter. If Peter checks out the file, it gets blocked again. So when somebody is currently checking out the file, then you still can have a look to the old version of that CAD file. So you can still open and read it, but you cannot really change this file as long as it's checked out by another person. So the green arrow on this demo CAD file I currently checked out shows me that I have checked out the file. I can work on this file as well. On the top, I just see the normal filter and layer structure as usual in tables. So let's do a program for this file. Go to my NC job. And I just create a new program which exists already on that file. What I see already on the left side is that something happens underneath my CAD file. There's a new folder structure and different files currently get created while tables is working on the NC program. So what happens here actually in the background? Tables has created folders for all these different programs underneath my CAD file. And the one I would like to create, or actually created, got attached underneath my project as well. So I do have the NC file itself underneath my CAD file. which I could also like to open if I would like to, with the notepad, for example. And underneath the NC file itself, I also have information about the tools being used for the NC program. So this information is visible for everybody working in Tabas. For example, operators in the shop floor with the Tabas viewer can just have access to the tools necessary to do a program. But even more interesting is that you can send your program directly to the machine. What does it mean? This program gets now sent to the machine as a copied file, so that NC program file will get available directly at the machine. Nobody has to copy it manually. Nobody has to go to Windows directory to search for it, to find it. It just got sent directly to the machine over the network. This is something I can do directly in Tabas. And once I have done this, I see this little blue-green icon on the NC program, which actually tells me that the program got sent already to the machine. So whenever I change anything on the CAD file, I know that this program got already sent, and I be able to make sure that this specific file gets deleted so that nobody's using maybe an older or wrong version to do the machining. Once I change anything on this CAD file, I be able to save it as a new version. If I do so, then a new version got created called version 1.01. At the same time, I got question marks at my programs where Tabas is actually telling me the program got created with a different version of the CAD file. So an older version of the CAD file was being used to create this NC program. Might be possible that this is not correct anymore. So let's have a look onto new, more possibilities we have on here. And let's use another example. Again, I look for a CAD file I would like to upload and attach it directly to my project. So this CAD file now is a little bit different to the other ones. This CAD file is a complete mold with all its single parts. So it's already assembled and every single part is inside that specific one CAD file. This CAD file I got actually from the design department and imported it to Tabas. As I see on here, it has a proper layer and filter structure where I have all these different single parts as a different layer available. So what is normally my work before I start working on the NC program? The first thing would be separating these single parts into different CAD files to make sure that I can change these files and prepare the NC program without changing anything on the whole assembly. To do so and to make it easier for you as operator, we have the file splitter. This little tool helps you to separate components and parts into different CAD files. It's pretty easy to use. It just selects with Control or the Shift button, for example, the positions I would like to separate. The position I have selected gets displayed in the background, so can easily realize which one I currently selected. I then have to create a new subfolder structure, which you see already on the left side, one folder or one position per component. And once I split the files, Tables creates for each single component a new CAD file, which only includes the information of that single part. So you can split really easy and in just really a small amount of time this complete assembly into separated CAD files, into separated files, to make it possible for the NC programmers starting working on this. So let's have a look. This is still my whole assembly. Let's go to one of my blades, the position 1.1. Once I open it, I see that this is really just a single component and I don't have anything else inside my CAD file. So again, this file got attached to my project and this CAD file got separated automatically by Tables using the split file functionality. So my NC programmers can now start working on this project, and there they can work on different parts at the same time just because of I got them separated. One more information, all these files got not just only separated, they are also immediately attached to my whole project and to the Proleis data management. So I don't have to upload them manually anymore. It just got uploaded automatically and it's available and visible for everybody being working with Tables and Proleis data management. So, but what happens actually when a designer changed anything on this assembly? This is pretty important. So one of the designer has changed anything on one of these components and they gave me a new CAD file, which I need then to import to the system as well. But as I said, I don't really know what they have changed. So let's get through this example. Let's get checked in my file again. The very first thing I have to do is upload the new file I got from the design department into the Proleis data management. Tables will realize already that this file already exists. So now I can tell Tables I would like to keep it as a second file. So it just gets attached as a second file and the older one will not get changed at all. Or it just overwrite. Overwrite means it will bring it into the system, but it will create a new version, as I see on here. So now I don't have the version 1.00 anymore. Now I have the version 1.01, which is the CAD file I just uploaded to the system. Let's check out this file again. Bring it to my local system. Because of still, I would like to know what the designer has changed. So once checked out, I use the same function in Tables again, the split file function. And I again would like to have a look to the first 8 positions, the first 8 components of that assembly. But this time, before using the file splitter, I activate the function geocomp to compare the geometry of each single component. So what is Tables doing now? Well, Tables is again separating the single components and attaching that to the Proleis data management, but only if anything has changed on the geometry of a specific component. If there was no change done, then it will not create a new single splitted file. So again, tables is having a look if there was a change done on any of the geometry of the single components or not. And only when there was a change done, it will create a new CAD file. This is a really big time saver. Of course, this time tables needs a few seconds more because it will check and coordinate every single component before it creates a new one or not. And once finished, I can find on the left side the new versions. Again, automatically attached to the Proleis data management. So as I see immediately, only two components have changed, the position 1.1 and 1.8. And I see here the version 1.01 was being created. If I go to the second position, I see that there is still the old version. So this means only when there was a change done, Tables has created a new version and attached it to Proleis. So let's figure out what actually has changed on this blade. To do so, I can just make a right click on it and compare with the previous file. Here I see all the previous versions of that specific component, but at the moment I just have one previous version. I do the comparison, and this is just a red-green comparison inside Tables. Both files, the current and the previous version, are already selected on here. Just have to press OK. And as next, I will find all changes marked with red inside the CAD file. So that is pretty awesome. Let's have a look onto our benefits with the manufacturing data management again. It's not possible for you to lose any data anymore. Once the files are attached to the Proleis data management, they are attached forever. The only person who actually can delete these files are the administrators. Versions are managed by Proleis, so you can make sure you always work on the right version and on the latest version. You don't lose any time because if you don't have to look around on a confusing folder structure to find the right files, since really everything is getting managed inside Proleis. Right. So that's about it for data management. Of course, I could speak a little bit longer, but I guess that gives a good overview about the possibilities.
Yeah, Jenny, thank you very much for the moment. I'm always thinking that it's really pretty cool. Maybe not everybody realized this, that all this data management that a CAD/CAM user has to do, this is all inside of the CAD/CAM system Tables. This is the really cool point about this combination of Proleis and Tables, that when dealing with data management, you don't have to leave the CAD/CAM system, but you do everything in the CAD/CAM system. I think that's really cool. And yes, still I would like to encourage you to ask questions about the things we are telling you. And now we are going on to the next point, which is machining data acquisition. We had another question there in the registration form, and this was going about, do you have data about your machine utilization and possible reasons for downtime over the past days or weeks? so that you have an idea what is going on in your shop floor. And once again, I would like to show you the results here. These are the numbers that you have given us. So 15% they have no information. 27% have it in part. They only know uptime and downtime, but they don't have a quantification of the downtime. They have no reason for the downtimes. And which is really pretty cool is that we have 58% that have this information, but yes, still I would like to ask you to stay on board and look what Proleis can give you for information and in what easy way this is going on. So, please take over.
Okay, thank you. So it's pretty interesting that 58% of you know about the detailed reason why a machine was actually stopped, downtime or whatever happened at the machine. Because of that is actually not what I see at the current situation of many companies I've been visiting. So normally when you talk about, the downtimes at the machines, you probably know about the main, the idle, and the error time. So you know when the machine was running, when it was stopped, and maybe when it was an error happening at the machine. But this is normally not enough. That actually just tells me how long the machine was actually earning money for me, but it doesn't tell me what was the detailed reason why it was stopped and how can I make sure it doesn't get stopped that long anymore in future. So it would be more convenient and more interesting for me to know what actually was the detailed reason why the machine was stopped. For example, in this case, was the machine maybe waiting for the crane, or was the setup done at the machine, and what was the detailed error why the machine was stopped? To do so, we have the Proleis starter package, or second starter package, machine data acquisition, which helps you to identify the utilization of the machines to really get a good overview on how far the machines are actually on target to producing or to machine one of your components, to analyze this data and always get a good overview about the current status of your machines. So let's have a look onto the milestone project overview again and where the machine data acquisition actually fits in. Also here again, the project monitoring as always, but in detail, we are looking into the manufacturing area. So the machine status. Well, there are many machines in your shop floor. And how would it be if all machines are connected to, for example, Proleis, to send over the current status? To make it also possible that you can run your machines without any operator, maybe over the weekend when you have long-term products running on the machines for maybe, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 hours. That would be great and you could save a lot of money, but if one of the machines gets stopped, what happens then? Maybe it gets stopped right after setup, nobody is at the shop floor, and then on Monday morning you realize that the machine got an error and nobody could fix it and you lost a lot of time. So a system like Proleis can identify the current machine status all the time from everywhere. And in this case, you can make sure that you send an operator right to the machine to get the problem fixed and get it up and running again. How about the detailed qualification of your downtimes? Well, in this case, we see a Proleis computer, client or tablet, Windows-based, next to the machine, connected to the Proleis server. And whenever the machine gets stopped, you'll see a pop-up window with reasons why the machine might stop. And in this case, the operator can just press one of these buttons to make sure that this reason gets saved into the database as the reason why the machine was stopped. In this case, you get the details. And then finally, of course, you would also like to analyze this data. So whenever you have any downtimes, we have charts and the possibility to analyze this information to make sure you can identify the problems and make sure they're getting solved as soon as possible. So let's have a look into the software, how it looks like there. With the starter package of Proleis machine data acquisition, you see at first all the machines connected to Proleis. You see their current live status, and you'll be able to tell immediately if the machines are running or not. We also have the possibility to have a look onto your whole plant. So you see the position of all the machines you have, and again, the current status of them. Once I click onto one of my machines, I get more detailed information on the right side. The standard machine information like name, cost center, and more important, what program is currently running at the machine. Feed rate, for example, what currently happens at the machine as well. And if you like, you'll also be able to get the current machine status as well. So Proleis with the machine data acquisition gives you the possibility to analyze and record all the production times and downtimes with an easy-to-use software. You can qualify your downtimes, so you can make sure whenever the machine was stopped, you get the right reason why the machine was stopped. So you don't just know that the machine was stopped, you know the reason. Get the current status of all the machines, of course, and you can also make sure that these problems and stop machines get solved as soon as possible. Right. So that's about the machine data acquisition.
Okay. So, yes, now we're here once again to answer your questions. If any questions came up while our presentation, please use the chat function to send us your questions in, and we will try to answer them right away. Otherwise, we will answer them later on. Maybe one thing that we could point out is that what we have shown here in this webinar is only a small portion of what is possible with Proleis. So Proleis is a complete MES system that has a very, very strong focus as well on the planning of your single part manufacturing. And we have here for getting an easy entry, we focused on two functions, data management and machine data acquisition. But at the end, this is a really comprehensive system that is really able to manage and to plan and to control everything that is going on in your shop floor. Okay. Yes, I see we have one question. This is going to for the connection of other systems, looking to the ERP level. The question, what about SAP? Is it possible to connect SAP to Proleis?
Yes, it is. We have many existing companies working with Proleis and SAP together. And of course, there we have a connection to SAP to gather new projects as information from SAP and also send back more detailed information about the current running time of the machines and how long the operators were working, what is the current status of a project. So there are many things, many information possible to send over to an ERP system like SAP. And yeah, we have many of our customers really using SAP as an example, but also other systems like Microsoft Navision or other ERP systems which are more locally.
Okay. Great. So, any other questions? Maybe in the meantime, we could give a little look out to what is happening next here in our webinar studio. We have actually the next webinar tomorrow, featuring the new release 7, with a lot of improvements in quality in CAD and in CAM. But unfortunately, this one will be in German. But we will keep you informed about the next webinars in English. So let's go back to the question. We have one more question asking if there a planning module in Proleis.
Yes, so there's definitely a planning module inside Proleis. Proleis itself is mostly about planning the shop floor. And this is not part of the starter packages, to be honest. That would be a more solution based on the shop floor for you, and we would need to analyze your process for this as well. But of course, Proleis is a planning software, so we also have planning modules inside Proleis as well.
So, any other questions out there? If you have some questions later on, no problem about this. When with the invitation of the webinar, you received an email, and you can also put your questions back to that email, and we will answer them later on.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So, yes, I don't think we have any more questions for the moment. So I would like to thank you very much for your patience, for following us in this webinar. And it was a pleasure having you here. And I hope we will meet once again in one of our next webinars. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.